We're reviewing a question from the edexcel AS sample paper. This is question 16. We're going to do it in two parts, part A then part B. First part is a show that, where we're asked to show that the perimeter for the diagram shown there is equal to the formula given, 2x plus a over x plus pi x over 2. So I'm going to begin by trying to find the perimeter of the shape. So the perimeter here is equal to 2x plus 2y, that's the bits here, and the 2x is obviously that bit, leaving us to find this bit here, half of a circle. The radius of this circle is x, so the circumference would be 2 pi x, half of that is just pi x. Now this is lovely, but we have a y in it and we don't want that. So we have additional information given to us in the question. It shows us over here that the area is 250. Now let's work out the area of the shape. Let's do that in a different colour. So the area of this shape is 2xy for the rectangle plus pi x squared, pi r squared for the area and of a circle, and the radius is x, but we only want the semicircle, so that's pi x squared over 2. Now we know that that equals 250, is given in the question. 250 xy, 250 equals xy plus pi x squared over 2. I'm going to multiply through by 2 because I don't like the divided by 2 in it. That's probably not going to be massively helpful, but I'm going to do it anyway. There are other ways of approaching these questions. I like to sort it out so there's nice whole numbers where I can. Next, I'm going to subtract the pi x squared from both sides to get the terms with y on their own. That gives me 500 minus pi x squared equals 4xy. Now to isolate the y, I simply divide by 4x. That will give me 125. 500 divided by 4, 125 over x minus pi x over 4. I've done that. That will equal y. Okay, that's a useful thing there. So I've taken that result, 125 over x minus pi x over 4 equals y, and moved it to the top of the page, give myself a bit more space to work on. Now I would like to use that value in the original equation. Substitute the red thing for y into the black equation so that I get p equals 2x plus 2 times 125 over x minus pi x over 4 plus pi x. Expand and simplify. P equals 2x plus 2 times 125 over x gives me 250 over x minus pi x over 4 times 2 gives me pi x over 2 plus pi x. Finishing that off gives me p equals 2x plus 250 over x plus pi x over 2. Pi x minus pi x over 2 leaves pi x over 2. So, referring back to our question, we can see that that means that a must equal 250. And we've finished the first part. Now to look at the second part. In this question, they are asking us to find the minimum perimeter of the pool, taking the equation that we had previously. In this question, if we found what the a value is correctly, we'll be able to get the continuation. In most of the exam questions, rather than online practice questions, it's likely that they'll give you the finished equation to aim for and not ask you to show what a is or state what a is. So you'll be able to take that answer and do the second part regardless of whether you got the first part correct or not. So in this question, let's review what it's asking us. We've got the same information about the pool, and then we're asked to find the minimum perimeter of the pool, giving our answer to 3SF. So, to begin with, we need to recognize what to do. It asks for a minimum, we're probably differentiating. So, I'm going to start by finding dp dx, the rate of change of the perimeter with x. We want the minimum dp dx, so differentiating gives me 2, differentiate 2x gives me 2. Next I have to differentiate 250 over x, and that's 250 x to the minus 1. So when I differentiate that, that will give me minus 1 times 250 x to the power of minus 2. So minus 250 x to the minus 2. Next we need to differentiate this little bit here, pi x over 2. People regularly become confused when differentiating these things. Pi over 2 is just a number. X is x to the power of 1. When we differentiate, then it just becomes pi over 2. All right, that's our differentiation. That's worth marks. Well done. We now need to recognize that we're seeking a minimum. So we need to make it 0 equals 2 minus 250 x to the minus 2 plus pi by 2. Next, we'll just rearrange this so that we can solve. Take the 250 x to the minus 2 to the other side. So we get 250 x to the minus 2 equals 2 plus pi over 2. We're going to need to give this as decimals. So 250 x to the minus 2 equals 3.57079, lots more numbers. Always a good idea to write down far more than you need and then round only once at the end. Dividing both sides by 250 is what I've chosen to do. There are other things you could approach, other ways you could approach it. I get 0.014283, lots more numbers. Now, that's 1 over x squared equals our value that we have there. If we take the reciprocal of both sides, we get x squared equals. I get 70.01239, lots more numbers. Square root to get our solution, it has to be the positive square root because these are measurements. So the square root of the answer, I've got 8.367, lots more numbers. It's easy to stop here and think that is the solution, but that's not what the question asks. It asks for the perimeter. So we need to take our x value, 8.367-ish, and substitute it into our original equation, the one that's highlighted over here. So P is equal to 2 times 8.367 plus 250 over 8.367 plus pi times 8.367 over 2. That gives me P equals, and a good tip here is to use the A and S button from the calculator in your calculation. You should know how to do that. If you don't, that is something to ask about and to find out about. So I've got 59.756, which I'm going to round to 59.8 to 3SF. That's what we're after. You should probably think about what the units are. I think in this case it will be meters. Yeah, okay. Do ask questions if you need to, and think about things you take from this, including the importance of reading and answering the question.